Hey guys, it's Jan, also known as Zenbuster, and today we are going to do some comparisons between the new AO620, a new issue, and the HG round hole ball bearings. So for a while, I was recommending the HG round hole ball bearings over the AO620s, but not this AO620, but this one, the one that came in this package. I will show you what I mean. So the problem before was that a certain issue of the AO620s were actually plastic on the inside, not the ball bearings. Instead, the issue was that the race on the ball bearings were plastic. So here, if you look at it, one of the identifiers is that it had a beveled bore right here. You can see it. You can see that there's slightly beveled on the inside. And then if you look closely in there, that's actually plastic right there. And the problem is that if you take out the cover on the other side, essentially the race can essentially pop off, and then that can essentially ruin your bearings. I've seen some of my friends essentially when they were cleaning this, the cover comes out, and then essentially the plastic gets loose and then it just gets ruined. So that's one of the issues with this specific version of the AO620. Now, the new one has come out. See, I was not recommending buying these anymore because they turned into plastic. Well, so I essentially recommended these. These ones, they are all metal at least in comparison to the plastic 620s. So that's why I was recommending these for the longest time. So let's go ahead and do some comparison. Let's clean these up, and we're also gonna go clean the new AO620s as well. So let's take this apart as well. And then we're gonna go dump a few of those in there. We don't need all four. Where did the others? Oh, there you go. Third one is in there. And then this one. We'll drop two of them in there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and clean these. We're probably just gonna go ahead and fast forward until I'm done shaking this. Okay, so it's gotten slightly milky now from the grease. Let's take this out, and then we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the HG round hole ball bearings first. So there's an issue with them, of course. They're not ideal, so I was a bit hesitant to recommend these over the plastic ball bearings from the AO620, but it's really bad in comparison when you have a plastic race, because the race can essentially degrade over time and it gets worse, and then it could just, fall apart. Well, the HG ones are at least all metal, so that's why I was recommending them over the plastic ones. So here, the issue with them is that they have a bit of a wiggle. So if you look closely, they wiggle a little bit on their axis, essentially. That's why they're a little bit loose. And the same thing goes this way. It's not so bad. Like this way, it's not too terrible, but if you twist it, you could kind of see that it's slightly loose. So that's the problem with the round hole ball bearings, is that since they're kind of loose, they're going to be a little bit worse for the transmission rather than the older 620s, the ones that were all metal. So here, see if the camera would like to focus for me. All right. Right here, you see? It really doesn't spin for very long. The ideal thing that you could do with these ones is that after you clean them, you oil them again. And the it's these are at least going to be better compared to when they have grease, because the grease, basically it just clogs it up and then it slows the bearing down too much. So here, it really only spins for about like 1-2 seconds maybe. So now let's look at the new one. Let's take one of the new ones out. All right, so here, let's disassemble this one right now so you guys could see the difference between the new AO620 versus the plastic ones that they issued last time. All right, so here, this is from the back of the bearing. You can see that it's metal again. Let's go ahead and take the cover out from the top side, where we can see the balls. There you go. You see, now it's all metal again. Now, the problem is that when it's in the package and it's still sealed, it's really hard to tell which version of the 94389 that you have. Because if you look, it'll have the same bevel, right? You can see it's beveled slightly. And then the same thing with this one. It's also got a bevel on the inner bore. Now, let's do like a spin test on this one. This one sounds a little rough, but let's spin it on a car for about a minute. Okay, so this one is the new AO620 with the metal race again. Let's take a look. 4 seconds. That's with the very little break-in. So that's already better than the HG round hole ball bearings. And I know this can probably reach about like 8 or 9 seconds after a while. So as you can see, yep, pretty much 4 seconds. So yeah, this is already spinning twice as long as the HG round hole ball bearings. So if you can get these ones, I would definitely recommend that you could get these ones instead of the HG round hole ball bearings. But unless you're completely out of these ones, then yeah, you might as well use the HG round holes, because they're going to be better than the hex hole ones that are cheap, and then the ones that are also round hole but are the cheap ones. So now the big issue, like I said before, in this, once you have it sealed, it's really hard to tell the difference. And the only way to tell is if you actually open it up. And now, one of the only ways to tell is if you actually compare the packaging. Now, if you're at a shop, this is going to be pretty easy to do, right? You're going to be looking at the packaging and be like, all right, let's look at this one and then let's compare it to this one. From the front, it's hard to tell. Like, okay, these are pretty much like the same part number. It even has the exact same price. And then if you look at all the words in Japanese and in English, it's all the same, essentially. At the back, this is where you can pretty much see the difference. You can see the years are about the same, the part number or like the barcode numbers are the same, and then made in Japan, Tamiya, blah, blah, blah. But the difference is on the plastic issue, there's a number 586384. So that's the plastic AO620. That's what you want to avoid. And this is a new one, 610466. That's a new issue. So by if you can look at it in person in the shop, get these ones. These are going to be the ones that are the metal ones. And then these ones are going to be the ones that have the plastic race inside of the bearing. So I would avoid those completely. And yeah, so now that there's quite a few different versions of the 620, I think it's just Tamiya trying to minimize the amount of money that they spend. This one probably was honestly just a bad idea. I didn't want them to do this. None of us do. Plastic ones are just going to degrade over time. And this one, I don't know actually which version came first or came in. This one was I don't even exactly remember how much this one was being sold, because I know that at some point it was 600 yen, and then this one was 700 or something like that. And then yeah, so this one is one of the older versions. This one was another older version. Let's look at the difference here. The inner bore is flat on both of them, but the inner bore is slightly thicker on this version, and then the outer bore is the same thing. It's slightly thicker than the one on the left. Now, and then this is pretty much one of the older ones, the oldest version. This is the 50315 AO620. So you can see how light that spins. These basically spin for like 20-24 seconds sometimes. At least the ones I have. I've heard of stories of some of them spinning for about 1 minute. So here. No, this one's 16. But yeah. And I think that if you warm these up, these spin for much longer. So yeah, these are essentially kind of like the closest to the holy grail that you can get for the AO620s. These spin for quite a long time. And that's due in part with the heavy metal outside, but also the ball bearings on the inside are much smaller compared to the ones that are the newer versions. So that basically uses a much smaller surface area, so that's always going to be less friction. So there you have it, guys. Basically, be on the lookout for the difference between these two bearings, because it's hard to tell unless you look at the actual packaging itself. You see, these ones are plastic on the plastic race with metal ball bearings inside, and then here this one is all metal. So definitely get the all metal one. Thank you, guys. This has been my overview of the new AO620. If you guys would like to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, and share, and thanks for watching. Go race.